Hello. Welcome attendees and hello co-presenters. My name's Lucy Panesar and I'm just going to kick off this event today on decolonising the Wikipedia network. This is an introduction event and it's going to be presented by Changemakers, which is a LCC college initiative involving students and recent graduates as partners in co-developing decolonised curriculum and kind of knowledge activism, which is very much what we're here to talk about today. So we have a few change makers here presenting. Two in particular are going to be taking us through the slides, Alex and Emma, and just to kind of go through the structure. We probably might not take up the whole hour. It all depends on how many questions and that the audience wants to raise towards the end. We're going to start with Alex giving an introduction to what the network is about, its aims, and then we're going to be looking at some examples of what a kind of decolonised approach to Wikipedia editing looks like, and then explaining how you can get involved. If you're here and you're already a member of the network, then you're probably keen to know what the next steps are. And if you're not yet a member, you can learn a little bit about what that kind of membership of the network looks like. Just to say that I'm the Progression and Attainment Project Manager at LCC. So I kind of manage a whole host of different projects that are aimed at supporting all of our students to succeed. And decolonising the curriculum is a massive part of that work. So this is a really valuable project and I'm really pleased that we're working in partnership with Wikipedia and Wikimedia Education. So at that point, I just want to, before we hand over to the Changemakers for the main session, we actually have Richard Nevell from Wikimedia UK here today, and he's just going to say a few words just about their involvement. Richard, can I hand over to you?
Thanks very much, Lucy. So, as you just said, I work for Wikimedia UK. We're a charity which supports Wikipedia, and we help universities and museums, libraries and so on interact with Wikipedia so people become better readers and can hopefully improve its content. Wikipedia has grown very organically since it was founded in 2001. And it's one of the most important websites in the world. It is one of the most visited and very often a first port of call for so many people when they're looking for information online. But it does have some imbalances in its content. It reflects some of the imbalances and inequalities in the world around us today. So events like this, the Decolonising Wikipedia Network, are a really important way to redress some of those balances. Wikipedia is an open platform, so we have the ability to go in and make it better. And it's not just about making Wikipedia better, it's about making the internet better. And the implications go far beyond just this one website. It changes the world around us. So it's really encouraging to see the London College of Communications engaging in this way. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of it, seeing the Changemakers lead the way in this respect. So that's a very brief introduction for Wikimedia UK side. We're very keen to support and offer advice on how to edit and answer questions as we can.
So I guess we'll get started on some kind of looking at the aims of what the network is for. So if we can have the next slide, please. So as has been said, the network is facilitated by the student Changemakers. So we're a group of students, one from each program in LCC, and our aim is to kind of embed decolonisation work into the curriculum. And this is one of our projects, essentially, the Decolonising Wikipedia Network. So what we hope to do is increase the visibility and credibility of underrepresented figures connected to teaching and research in our subject disciplines. That's kind of the main aspect of why we're here. But we also want to support students and staff to become Wikipedia editors and creators, with decolonisation at the heart of what we're doing. And finally, it's kind of an opportunity for you to play an active role in decolonising knowledge while also improving your research, writing and editing skills. If that's what you want to do or what you want to get out of it, then this is kind of a really good thing to get involved with. Next slide, please. So we did, this network is kind of follows a focused event that we did earlier in the year called the Editathon. So this was a focused 3-week kind of drive that we did to edit Wikipedia articles. And we've included this in the slide because even though we're looking for kind of a more sustained, prolonged, kind of evolving project this time around, I think what's encouraging is to see that with only 13 articles edited in the last event, we got 82.8 thousand article views, sorry. So I think you can kind of see by this how quickly you can make an impact with not a whole lot of editing, and certainly without a whole lot of knowledge so far about how Wikipedia works. So I think looking at these numbers is kind of really motivating, to me at least, to see that this really is a way that we can kind of start to decolonize knowledge and start to kind of get to grips with how we can start to shift the focuses of our respective canons. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is an example provided by a staff member, Alex Duncan, and this was before of a page that she edited, and you can see it's kind of just one paragraph basically, with a few references. And if we look to the next slide, you see that Alex added a list of exhibitions and group exhibitions. So this is just some kind of really basic, easy to find information that you can kind of add to really bulk up the credibility of a practitioner's Wikipedia article. And it kind of just goes to show how simple it is to really make sure that everybody is represented on Wikipedia, and to make sure that nobody is overlooked by their kind of discipline or by the canon that kind of they belong to. I think in this particular example, the information was taken from a publication called Recordings, which is a pretty extensive list of exhibitions and projects carried out by artists of colour, Black artists, and I think it's a really good resource to start with. I'm sure we can find a link and send it out in the network, because it's a really good place to start if you're stuck for which articles to edit, or for even which articles to create, if that's something that you want to take on. So at this point, I think I'll hand over to Emma to look at another couple of examples and continue with kind of looking at how to get involved.
Thank you, Alex. Could you please change the slide? Lovely, thank you. So kind of honing on what Alex just said, don't be afraid to start off with the very basic information, because imperatively that is the most important. As you can see from this slide, perhaps rather surprisingly, but very common, I think you'll find during your time editing. For example, on here, the age is missing of this person, the birthplace, the nationality. It's very vital information that would tell you something about someone, and perhaps even their practice too. And yeah, it's just to show you to not be afraid to start with the basics as you kind of delve into editing. And perhaps if it's your first time editing, it's a great place to start, and perhaps the most important place to start. Could you please change the slide, please? Yeah, so just reflecting on information you may want to add: age, date of birth, birthplace, nationality, education, and what they're known for. I think recently, in the last Wikipedia event, I had to kind of honestly fill out loads of these sections for different practitioners, and it's very surprising, but it's very common to have a look and very common to find. And yes, a movement, what kind of movement are they known for, awards and achievements. So yeah, it's a great place to start. Could you please change the slide? Thank you. And yes, to also add, so you can add citations. to the information you find. So as you can see on the screen, when you hit cite, you can add a link to your source there, and Wikipedia will generate the citation, which you can edit if you wish to. So it's very simple. It's nothing to kind of be afraid of trying out and doing, because yeah, it's very simple. And if you could please change the slide, please. Thank you. And yeah, kind of just to reiterate what I just said, really, don't worry, like don't be afraid to kind of to throw yourself in there to editing. Do as little or as much as you want to do. Us Changemakers are here to assist you. Lucy's here to assist you. Please do drop us an email, and one of us will get back to you with any questions or queries. And just don't forget the importance of what it means to be a part of this project and this initiative, really, because it's just so imperative that we look at the resources that we're using for research and kind of truly understand just how much they need to be decolonised and diversified. Particularly Wikipedia, which I think we can all agree is the most common outlet for research. So that's, in my view, and across the board for Changemakers and UAL and LCC, that's kind of where we need to begin in terms of research, and hence why this project has come into fruition, really. Yeah, so please do reach out to us if you do need any help, just to reiterate that. And yeah, brilliant. I'll pass back to Alex. Thank you.
So it's, as Lucy said, some of you might already be signed up, in which case we'll look at kind of the next step. But if you haven't signed up yet, you can just hit this bit.ly link here. Well, you'll probably have to type it in, but essentially it's just a pretty simple form. You just pass over a few details and you'll get access to the network. And if I can get the next slide, please. What you'll see is the dashboard as it currently stands. So this is kind of the base of where all the edits that people within the network make will kind of appear. You can assign yourself an article, but you don't have to do that. You can just go ahead and start kind of editing. As kind of you saw a few slides ago, editing is really a case of just clicking and typing and making sure that you cite everything that you add. So it is not as daunting as it looks. And yeah, this, like I said, this is just kind of the next step once you're signed up, is basically make a start. So in terms of the kind of how to get started or what to do, it's essentially just choosing somebody. You can always team up, or if you're having troubles kind of choosing who to edit, you can always get in touch with us and we can kind of give some assistance or kind of help out with pointing you in the right direction of who you might want to edit. Or if you want to create a page as well, there is some guidance for that coming pretty soon. So I think that's kind of everything that we had to kind of say mainly. I don't know if anyone has any questions at this point. We're happy to answer anything and everything related to the network. If I pass over to Christy, you have some stuff to add?
Yes, morning. Hi, everyone. I hope you can see me all right. I'm in LCC at the moment and sometimes the Wi-Fi is a bit intermittent. It's great to be here with all of you. My name's Christy and I am part of the academic support team. I look after the team at LCC and academic support. And we are also working with the Changemakers, who are doing some great work with Lucy on this Decolonising Wikipedia Network. And so I just thought I'd talk a little bit through how we might be able to support the process and really how we fit into that. So I think that maybe as some pointers, I can just pick up on what's already been shared by Alex and Emma. And I think that if you're thinking about contributing, maybe just start with what you know about the personal practice that we need to decolonise and we need to improve the representation of on Wikipedia. And then think about how you would turn that into an entry on Wikipedia. And I think as well, this process of thinking about your own approach to this, what you know and what you can do, is really important as a first set of steps into making that initial foray if you haven't edited before, or improving how you edit content online if you have done it before. So some key questions maybe to think about from a reflective perspective are, have you done anything like this before, and how did that go? And once you've thought about that, maybe have a go at providing an edited version of some practice or some person that you want to decolonize before you put it onto Wikipedia. Sorry, there's a siren going off. And then once you've done that, do you think that you need some support with turning that into the entry that you want it to be? And when you've thought about that, I mean, is it a technical form of support that you need, or is it related more to decolonization? And maybe it would be useful then to reach out to the Changemakers and or Lucy to find out what support they may be able to offer you. But then in terms of our what we can do in LCC academic support, if it's academic related support, you think, if it's about writing or research, maybe get in touch with us, and I can provide the email later on, and I can also provide the web address to Academic Support Online, because there we have resources to help with researching and writing. And we can provide one-to-one tutorials on topics like researching and writing. And remember that doing this work for Wikipedia will also help you with your academic work for your courses. So it has this double benefit of doing the really important work that Richard was talking about, improving representation, making sure that we're including as much knowledge, expanding as much knowledge as possible for the for visitors to take in and learn from, and helping with that will also then help you with your academic work for your courses. I myself am a network member, and I'm really looking forward to adding what I know from my practice as a researcher. I focus in particular on the verbal arts in Arabic and contemporary artistic practice in Chile. So I have some really interesting insights, but obviously this is really going to work as a network because we're coming together. You know, we're bringing all of this interest and all of this expertise that we are working on, and then together we're helping to improve the representation. So that's really what I would like to add.
That sounds really good. And there have been some very good pointers here about Wikipedia and how to engage with it. It can be about creating biographies about people, or it can be making sure that practitioners are mentioned in relevant Wikipedia pages, kind of building those links across Wikipedia. Now, I do have a question for the Changemakers, if they don't mind. I was wondering, have you identified any pages so far that you'd be particularly interested in seeing improved, either yourself or by the network?
I guess I can speak to something that I noticed a while ago, which was an American practitioner named Discwoman. She was very instrumental in the repeal of a law in New York called the Cabaret Law, which prevented dancing in loads of clubs in New York. And I was kind of surprised when I went onto her Wikipedia page and also the page for the Cabaret Law to find that it wasn't mentioned at all. So that was one of the kind of things that wasn't necessarily her practice in and of itself, but was kind of a really like momentous achievement for somebody that wasn't included anywhere on Wikipedia. So yeah, that was something that I noticed and was pretty shocked by, and that's the kind of thing I think that really needs to be celebrated and needs to be on Wikipedia. So yeah, don't know if anyone else has any other examples.
Yeah, I can add an example to that. So yeah, actually one of the slides I actually showed was this practitioner. His Wikipedia page is still quite lacking, so something I'd like to continue, but his name is Armit Francis, and he's a British photographer who came over with the Windrush generation. And he was a pioneer in the sense that he captured the life and soul of the Black community in Notting Hill in the 1960s. And I was shocked. Firstly, I had never heard of him, so it was quite a shock when, sorry, my doorbell's ringing. And secondly, his Wikipedia page was like, there wasn't even an image of him. There was little information to his background, the fact he was part of that generation, the fact that he was associated with like the Notting Hill community of Black people in the 1960s. So yeah, it was super kind of alarming to me and surprising that that was the case. But yeah, that's what I had. I'm so sorry, my doorbell's ringing. What the chances?
Something to add, I guess, on pictures, on images, is maybe Richard can kind of clarify if I get anything mixed up here. But there is the Wikipedia Commons, where any images and media on the Wikipedia Commons is free for you to use on your page. If you are looking to upload an image, you, as far as I know, have to be the rights holder. But I think you might be able to get stuff cleared on Wikipedia Commons, because it is something that you will notice is a lot of the practitioners you want to edit do not have any images on their page. I don't know if Richard wants to clarify what I'm alluding to there.
So you're spot on there. The best way of doing it is uploading images you have the rights to. So easiest way is photos you have taken. You can't just take a photo from the internet and share it on Wikipedia. For contemporary practitioners in the arts, this can be quite tricky because they're publicity photos and photos of their work may be copyrighted. So it's really quite tricky. There are principles of fair use around that, which we might be able to get into at some point. It's not an activity for people who just start out on Wikipedia. It is, in fact, one of my first edits to Wikipedia was uploading a copyrighted image and trying to go down the route of fair use, and I got into a massive tangle. So I do appreciate that with visual artists in particular, you want to include images of them and their work. So it's quite tricky, but if we're talking about public sculpture, you can go out and take pictures yourself of those. So if you have images which you can share, that can be really helpful. So the website is Wikimedia Commons, and when you start uploading stuff, it gives you a walkthrough about what you can and can't upload. So that is just scraping the surface on Wikimedia Commons, but I will leave it there.
Thank you, Richard, and thank you, Alex and Emma and Christy. I think that's like, as I think our audience are probably understanding, there is so much to learn and understand technically, but also kind of conceptually, and in terms of what knowledge, what practitioners are out there that deserve to have better representation on our kind of on our knowledge sources such as Wikipedia. So hopefully this today has given you a kind of taster of what can be done within the marvelous source that is Wikipedia, that is there for us as the public to contribute to, staying true to its democratic aims. But yeah, there is a lot to learn, but as you can see, there's a whole host of us, and that's what the whole purpose of having a network is about. We can support each other, and it's whilst we've had students and graduates here today presenting, this really is something for all of us within the community to be part of. I've never edited anything on Wikipedia. I still feel nervous about doing it, and I'm an academic, so I think it's something, there's so much for us to all learn, from the small kind of how do you do a citation to a copyright to an image to what do I write about this amazing artist, so hopefully together we can support each other to do more good work to democratize and decolonize the source. So yeah, I think we'll probably wrap up there. So this will kind of be a nice recorded video that others can also watch as part of the work moving forward. And just a reminder here of how to sign up if you haven't already. to the network via this bit.ly link. And there's one question in the Q&A I've just been advised of, which is I have a question about linking to other sites. Is there a protocol? Okay, so before we wrap up, let's honour that question, which I don't think has been really covered initially. I don't know if Alex or Richard, you are able to explain the protocol of linking to other sites from a Wikipedia page.
So, Alex, if it's okay with you, I might take this one. Right, so there are two key points. The first is that links to other websites usually go right at the foot of a Wikipedia article. The text itself will have links to other pages on Wikipedia, but those external links are usually grouped at the bottom. Now, in terms of what can go in those links, we really want to make sure that they're the most relevant pages. So we're talking about official websites, maybe important interviews, perhaps if they've got an exhibition that's ongoing, it can be linked to from there. There's a temptation to put a bit of everything in there. So if they've done 10 interviews which are online, there's a temptation to put all of those there. But we need to think about what would be useful for the readers. So some interviews might cross a lot of the same ground. So we think about what is most adding value to the Wikipedia page. So stuff which links to, say, galleries or online displays of the practitioner's work are really useful. So top priority is their official website if they have one, and then stuff around that which helps explain a bit about the person. So that's how I would approach it. Alex, any thoughts on that?
Not that I can think of. I think just as long as you provide the citations, that's kind of the most important thing, in my opinion. Just making sure that, yeah, if you are going to refer to other websites, as long as you make that crystal clear. I've not had any issues up to now.
Okay, back to me. Thank you. Brilliant. Okay, thank you for that question. Yeah, like I said, so much to learn, but yeah, the network is kind of just to kind of emphasize actually that there's no kind of commitment to do anything in a particular time frame like there was for the editathon. That was really good to generate some loads of activity quickly, but the whole purpose of the network is so that we can take our time and that we can also collaborate. So, you know, by becoming a member of the network, you can kind of seek other people you might want to do work with over time. So yeah, that said, this was our launch and our start. I hope that's given you a taster, and hope to see some of you via our channels in the network. If you've got any questions, please drop us a line at the Changemakers email. You can find all of that if you look at this link. Thank you.